No.
Welcome to the My Haunt Life podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the second part of the My Haunt Life podcast, episode 12.
Also known as episode 12, Back with a Vengeance. Come on! No?
I wish there could be a sound that could really go here to show the look that I just gave you.
I found that funny.
Of course you do. Anyway, so this is the second part. We're going to be talking about all the things that we've done since the last podcast that are not the tension experience.
Which was all of part of the first part of this.
Right, because there was a lot to digest.
Absolutely.
The first thing we wanted to point out is, you know, our love for Blackout. And right now, Blackout 21 is still happening. Well, Blackout posted these random numbers on their Facebook page, and along with a P.O. box. And they were numbers, and then in parentheses, more numbers. Everybody started theorizing and thinking, okay, so the first part of it was a P.O. box. It's, you know, P.O. box number. And then, okay, so that must mean the numbers below it are the P.O. boxes in the zip codes that we have to go to or get a key to or possibly send something to if you're close to it.
It was very clear that some of them were zip codes.
So we're looking at it thinking, yeah, that makes sense, but do we need to look up the post office addresses and things like that?
Which multiple people did.
Yep. And the comments are really funny, but it's awesome because we're not alone when it comes to geeking out about this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I called the post office. They don't have a P.O. box like 940, you know, things like that. So it's really cool. But the more I looked at it and I looked line by line, I was like, wait a second. What I noticed was my zip code. Before that, the numbers before that were my house numbers. So it just all clicked. Like, wait a minute. These are house numbers and their zip codes. These are people that have done 21. And so I got super excited. I think I told you, I was like,
yeah.
Oh my God, it's my house's zip code. Oh my God. And so we don't know if we're supposed to write to the P.O. box or if the P.O. box is someone's address because, you know, people can have P.O. addresses instead of their personal address to get mail sent to. And so I'm wondering, looking out my curtains, wondering if someone's going to show up. I'm checking the mail every day to see if there's any new mail from Blackout or anything like that.
And in response to the post that they had made with the house numbers and zip codes, in the reply section they said, we would prefer that the responses be limited to postcards or single pages. This will be for everyone, everywhere. So obviously anyone can participate in this.
Right.
And then on Friday the 13th, they actually posted the question, what is fear? Submissions to Blackout, and they repeated the P.O. box, and they gave Brooklyn, New York as the actual destination.
Right.
So obviously they're asking for submissions, 1 page or less, or a postcard of what is fear to you. Mm-hmm. However, we don't know.
How is that going to be used against us?
And also, we don't know your house number and zip code, man.
Right.
So
because I did send them something, but
yeah,
you know, what does that mean?
Oh, I didn't know that. Because we last time I spoke to you about this, you hadn't sent them something. Right. Yeah, I definitely did.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, definitely was honest. So, so that is developing. That's something that's going on right now. I would assume this would involve chapter 3 of 21, which if you go to their website right now, they do have a chapter 3 label, but it's not a hyperlink. It's not active yet, but it is hovering there.
Right. And if you do some searching on their Facebook under certain images, certain comments, there are hidden video links. They're going to be hard to find, but there are video links to private YouTube videos that have to do with chapter 3. So I would suggest you go to their Facebook page and start searching for Blackout YouTube links.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of very creepy things lurking around there.
Oh, yeah. And for more information on Blackout, you can go to their website at theblackoutexperience.com, on Facebook, The Blackout, on Twitter, NYC Haunted House, and on Instagram, The Blackout Experience. In more Blackout news, the documentary The Blackout Experiments, which our friend Russell is in,
Yes.
they posted a new trailer, and holy crap, this punched me in the face.
I've gotten a lot of comments about it, and one thing that, believe it or not, I did not notice at first. Like somebody at work, the day that it was released, which was I believe it was May 19th when the trailer was released, and they released a poster and the trailer exclusively on Apple Trailers to begin with, and then it's now up on YouTube and you can find it in various places. But somebody pointed out to me, it's like, oh, did you notice that there's no green band on it? Which a green band is the thing that appears before a trailer that says, this trailer has been approved
rated
for
R,
audience,
or,
feature rate, and then it says, the reason for the rating is strong violence or whatever. It's an unrated trailer. And I think the reason for that is this trailer is violent. So I don't think this trailer would have been approved to show in front of a general audience's movie, certainly, maybe not even a PG or PG-13.
Right.
This is a very violent trailer. It is very effective. I've had numerous people contact me and say, what the hell? Because I scream a lot in this trailer.
And you do a voiceover, so it's pretty rad that people that might not know you, and if they listen to the podcast, there's like, wait a minute, I know that voice.
So yeah, and actually, it's very funny because somebody reviewed the trailer, and they actually quoted my quote that they use in the trailer. I say something about exploring the darkness is rewarding, and someone pointed to the trailer and said, "Oh, and somebody actually says in the trailer that this is rewarding." So I had to laugh because, Mike, you know that we've gone through enough experiences that you make fun of the noises I make.
Yes.
Okay, well, I scream, and I'm sure you recognized,
of course,
all of the noises I make because I scream through most of this trailer. They concentrate on the pretty young people as for visuals for the most part, but yeah, you definitely see Bob and me in various portions of the trailer, and there's one thing which I had to laugh when I heard it, and it's unfortunately there's heavy music and sound effects underneath this. But, Mike, do you recognize this?
That's going to be our new opening from now on.
But that, it's which kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog being strangled to death. That is one of my haunt sounds when people startle me, and it's in the trailer. And when I watched the trailer the very first time, I laughed so hard because, oh my gosh, that is the sound. I immediately thought you would get a big kick out of that.
Oh, of course I do. Because I knew right away, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait to see this.
So yes, the Blackout Experiments it does have a new trailer. Check it out. I think it'll give you a glimpse into what the documentary explores. I think it starts to reveal that this is not just about Blackout. It's about the experience. It's about the effect that it has on people. The trailer certainly hints at that. The documentary really delves into several different people, including myself, to how Blackout affected us. And some of that's positive, some of that's negative. And I think that the documentary does manage to cover that very well. It won't answer all your questions about Blackout, that is for sure, because a Blackout will always be mysterious. I think the documentary serves Blackout in that regard as well, by not breaking down the mystery too far.
Good.
So, it's but, you will see a lot of footage from inside the shows. Nothing was reenacted. It was really creeped me out because there's certain things in the trailer that are very personal to me. Locations I'm very familiar with. It really did creep me out. The first time I saw it, I got to admit, I walked into my partner's office and said, take a look at this just so somebody else can. So I know that other people have seen it, and he found it intriguing and found it fascinating. He thought it was a great trailer. So I just okay, thanks. I just needed to know that It's like it's out there now. So it really shook me up seeing it, and because it is hard to watch myself going through some of it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when that comes out because obviously I'm going to be the first person to buy a ticket to see it and be the first person
Thank you.
online. But I don't want to see it with you that first time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a little hurt by that.
No,
man.
and it shouldn't be because it's one of those things where it's the same reason I can't watch a certain video about our friend Tal.
I haven't been able to watch that video at all.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like I know because I know what happens in Blackout. That's obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I had no clue and I wouldn't want to watch this. But I definitely want to see it. I just don't want to see it with you,
Okay.
sitting right next to me.
Okay. Okay.
Even though that's probably how it's gonna happen. But if I have a chance to see it with you, I'm not going to turn it down.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. But yes, and it's very funny for me because I also have the timeline in my head. So like there were nights when like things were shot for the documentary, and then I would see you and hang out with you and other haunt friends the next night, but I couldn't say anything because of the documentary.
Right.
And I know there were a couple of times when you like what's up with you? Like why are you so weird? Or I would come to you and go like, am I being really weird tonight? So and it's literally because we were socializing along the timeline of when some of this was filmed, and I was very aware of what was of what I was doing being captured on film. Mm-hmm. So it did have an effect on me, but I'm very, very honest and open in the film, and it'll be interesting to see what my friends say about it when they see it.
Yeah. So. I mean, obviously, like I've done Blackout. I've been probably through most of what's been in there.
Most of it you have. Some of it you have not.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not, you don't have to worry about what I think or anything like that. It's
I
gonna
know
be
that. I trust you.
The non-haunt people.
I trust you. So, which already, because I went to the Sundance Film Festival where it premiered, I have gotten the weird questions. Which we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the movie a little bit more as it comes closer to the release date. And we've got a couple of things that we would like to try to do for the podcast closer to the release date. So, but yeah, the conversation will come up. But yeah, we might unpack some of the weird questions that I've gotten, because I know for a fact you've gotten them too, based on your interest in Blackout and extreme haunting. So, it's similar territory.
Why?
Why? Yeah. Who hurt you? Like, lots of things. So, but anyway, if you want to learn more, and by the way, their website is really cool. Mm-hmm. The Blackout Experiments documentary website, really cool. It's got really like short 5-second snippets of action from the movie in various places that are really, really cool. Very dramatic, some good stills from the movie. And so the documentary is being released on July 22nd in major cities in the U.S. and a video on demand on the same day. And if you want to see the trailer, or if you want to learn more about the documentary, you can check out the Blackout Experiments at theblackoutexperiments.com or on Twitter at blackoutdoc. On Facebook, you can look for the Blackout Experiments, and on Instagram, Blackout Experiments. However, I will say that their Instagram account has been very, very inactive for most of this. Don't know if they're planning on ramping up closer to the documentary or not. So definitely check them out on Facebook and their main website. There's some really interesting stuff there. Now, as far as other stuff that was going on, actually the weekend after the trailer was released, I went to a show which was absolutely fascinating, and I want to mention it, but unfortunately it was a one-weekend show, but there's a reason I want to mention it, and I'll get into that. The show was called Micah Cover's Haunted House Calls. The Horror of War, The Magic of Love is the subtitle. This was presented by a company called Force of Nature, and this was a one-weekend show. It was basically a magic show, but it was much more than that. And the reason I want to point to it is I want to point you toward Force of Nature Productions, because they are a new production company which is deliberately trying to create new theatrical events, original pieces by up-and-coming artists and talents. Definitely someone to keep an eye on. Micah Cover's Haunted House Calls is a show which has been around for a little while. It comes back periodically. So I wanted to mention it because it is, if you enjoy magic, if you enjoy storytelling, it's a wonderful evening. He weaves this story. It's a love story that takes place during World War II about a passionate love between a magician and a woman who is, let's just say, a woman of science. And what happens as soon as they fall in love is very tragic, but it involves magic, it involves the supernatural, it involves the Bermuda Triangle, it involves scientific experiments, and it is a period piece. The story is, but the show itself is not a period piece. He takes you back and he sets up the time, tells you this wonderful story. And Micah is a magician that I've seen perform in several different venues. This is the first time I've had the chance to see him actually do an entire show. And it's absolutely enchanting the way that he weaves this tale of love interspersed with demonstrations of magic skills, riddles a little bit, meandering, pondering thoughts about love and who we are and how relationships affect us. It was very engaging. It was a wonderful evening. If you want to check out Micah, he has a website called micahthemagician.com. And also, this particular show does come back periodically. So if you look up hauntedhousecalls.com, you will find information about that show. And I hope that it comes back soon. The weekend shows were completely sold out. Definitely popular. And I wish him the best, and I sincerely hope the show, more people get to see it, because I was thoroughly enchanted by this. Also, I want to point you toward Force of Nature Productions, like I said, a new production company really nurturing new work. And if you look up Force of Nature Productions on Facebook, you can also find them on Twitter at FONPRODS. So that's basically FON Prods. And you can check out their actual website at fonproductions.com. They are based in the Burbank-ish area in California, so definitely take a look at their stuff. They've done a couple of shows already. They're definitely got some stuff coming up in the future. Just nurturing theater here in the community here in Los Angeles, people to keep an eye out for.
Micah's show sounds rad. I'm bummed I missed it. I'm going to definitely have to check out the next one.
It's definitely worth checking out.
Cool. One thing that I did get to check out with you is The Day Shall Declare It.
Yes. And my impression is that you had a really good time, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
This was incredible.
Yeah. I just I am going to gush now.
Do it. If anything deserves gushing, this does. I was blown away.
Yeah. It's, The Day Shall Declare It is an emotional piece of theater. It is immersive. It is a beautiful piece of work, and it's based on early works of Tennessee Williams. And Studs Terkel did a series of interviews. He's well known as a journalist for capturing classic American personalities, working class America. There's numerous books of interviews that he has done. So it's a Depression era America setting. And it's created by a company called Wilderness and produced in partnership with Hilo is the name of the company. I can't even begin to quite do it justice. This is absolutely one of the best immersive pieces of theater I've ever seen. It's emotionally gut-wrenching, beautiful, touching, moving. I can't speak highly enough of this. If you're into sort of the Tennessee Williams vibe of storytelling, which is, unrequited love, Depression-era America, the way that this unfolds is you go to an address in downtown Los Angeles and you enter a space that is sort of a very sparsely decorated home, and there's a bar attached to it. And you literally go into the bar, and that's where the show begins. And you can order a drink. You can hang out with friends prior to the show, and then while the show is starting to get closer in time, characters from the show come out and interact with people in the bar. Now, I would like to say that there's a couple of different price ranges of the tickets, and we actually bought into a ticket called the Tennessee, which is a slightly higher price range, but what that does is it offers you the chance to arrive early and you get sort of a private scene with one of the characters.
Yes.
And if you can afford it, if that's within your means, seriously consider buying that ticket, because the private scene that you get will give you information about the show. It'll give you glimpses into the evening that you're about to experience. And like Mike, you arrived right before I did, and I came in and I gotten a drink, and then how did that look to you? I mean, because you were standing there when I got pulled away.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking, here it goes.
So, because I was standing there, and suddenly this, gentleman wearing a suit walks over, puts his arm around me, takes my drink out of my hand, and hands it to Jake, who was standing there, and it just says, "Oh, I've been waiting for you." And I looked at him and I'm like, "I'm here." And he leads me away, and I get this wonderful, private, really intense scene involving him, which, because the show is still running, I don't want to spoil what the scene is, but it was intimidating, it was touching, it was very moving. Basically, he gives me a piece of his family history, but the way he does it, it was intimidating, because I don't know if you could see what was going on with me.
Yeah.
Basically, he definitely got in my personal space. I was shoved into a chair, and he came in really close, and part of the story that he told was, as he was had both of the arms or on the chair, kind of pinning me almost, and talking in my ear and talking about the family history. He reveals, I don't want to give it away, he talks about a prop from his childhood which appears later in the show. He demanded I have a drink with him, and he actually pours me a drink. All of this is going on, and it's really intense. And by the end of it, there was all this emotional, there was emotional intensity. There was sexual tension there. I mean, it was an extremely moving and intense experience. And literally, that was the first few minutes when I walked into the space.
Yeah, you got taken really quick.
Yeah.
You were the first one, I think.
Yeah, I believe I was. And I think Jake got, right after that. And then you, and then Deb got pulled away. Ty got, we all had these separate little scenes. And, again, we don't want to spoil too much, but, you got led away, and you got a glimpse into one of the characters.
My scene was basically the continuation of your scene.
Oh, holy crap, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, wow, that just hit me. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, and the cool thing is, you were given something which plays a hand in the show.
Yes. Yep.
I was given something which represented the character in his past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, each of us that got these scenes, that bought these tickets, got something.
Right.
To take away, a physical something.
Now, that being said, even if you choose not to do that, this show is 100% worth checking out, because what happens is, these little individual scenes are taking place, and then all of the cast is 3 characters, which I'd like to point out. The cast names in the program are Anthony Nikolchev. Is that how you pronounce that? And Chris Pollock and Annie Sanders. I apologize if I just brutalized an actor's name. I truly want to salute them. There is such bravery. There is such courage in this cast. The sexuality, the beautiful, beautiful emotion, the choreographed movement, which takes place through the majority of the show. Every gesture, every cross through every room reveals something about the characters and their story and their lives. And you are literally standing in the room. It's not a play that you sit and watch. You stand the entire time. You move from room to room. The characters' lives unfold before you, and they're not big spaces. But the audience on the night that we went was not huge. So very, very easy to become part of the show and immerse yourself in this world. The actors were adjusting to wherever people were.
Yeah, and it really becomes more than an immersive piece of theater. It becomes theater and dance choreography.
Yes, absolutely.
incredible to me. The way the actors are moving in and out of people, moving up and down off the props and carrying each other, doing stuff off one another. It's incredible. Like the skill level involved, it's so high, and that's what really blew me away, because it's one thing to be an actor. It's another thing to be an actor and move and be fluid and be able to pull off the things that they were doing so smoothly. In
character while there were audience members inches away from them.
Exactly.
And yeah, and Mike is right. The athleticism involved in this, they are climbing and swinging from rafters and just carrying each other and dancing, and wow, I really am gushing. But I love this piece so much. It's absolutely, one of my favorite immersive pieces I've ever seen. I hold it up there with, like other well-known pieces. I think Then She Fell is my other favorite piece of immersive theater, which is, in New York. This is much more intimate than that show is. This is like you become part of these characters' lives because you're in such a small space with them. And I highly recommend anyone who likes immersive theater, anyone who is drawn to the work of Tennessee Williams, perhaps, the stories that he tells, which are quite often tragic, because of his own personal history. If that speaks to you, give this show a chance. It runs through mid-June. I cannot speak highly enough of this show.
Yeah, and seriously, this is a perfect date night.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, because here's the thing: most dates is like, okay, let's say dinner and a movie, like the stereotypical classic thing. This has everything. You go to a bar, you can get a drink. It's actually attached to a restaurant. I mean, not a typical restaurant. You can order food here, and the food looks pretty amazing. And there, you can get a drink, you can see a show, and after the show, they don't make you leave. They say, "Hey, just hang out. It's a bar."
Actually becomes a speakeasy.
Yeah. Go outside. There's a fire pit, and on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, there's a band playing out there.
Yeah, it's actually called the Paradise Shipping Company. And it's a speakeasy. That's exactly what it is. And we hung out for a while afterwards, and we had another drink, and we, there's hung around the fire pit, and it was a really awesome experience. And by the way, I should also mention that bar is open to anyone.
Right.
I think they say around 9:45 during the evenings that the show is running, because it is a working bar. So, if you go there, you can't participate in the show, but if you come they open the bar afterwards. And it's a great place because also it's not loud and obnoxious like so many bars are in Los Angeles. It's a great place to hang with friends. Highly recommend checking them out. If you want more information, go to thisisthewilderness.com. And there you will find information about several projects. The show that we are talking about is called The Day Shall Declare It. On Twitter, check out @ThisIsTheWild. And on Instagram, it's @ThisIsTheWild. I would highly recommend you check out their Instagram because there are beautiful images from this show. It is a visually striking show. Image after image just stuck in my brain. The embraces, someone, trying to block someone's path so they can't move forward, someone caressing in a bathtub. There's just like image after image that is just, I will remember for a very long time. Please, if you support and love theater, go see this show.
But even if you don't like theater, and I'm
valid.
I'm not saying that as in even if you don't go. But the thing is, even though this is theater, this is not what theater you're thinking of.
This is an experience.
Like, you're not going to a building, sitting down, reading a program, waiting for the lights to dim. Like, this starts and you're in the middle of it and you're seeing a show and taking part in it. And it's incredible.
It's so much more challenging than 99% of the theater that's out there, I think. Very, very cool experience. My hat's off to the cast and everyone involved in this production. Thank you for the evening that we had, because it was awesome.
Agreed. Those were the things that we've actually done. And now I want to talk about a couple things that have happened and things that you should check out. The first thing is the Book of Phi, and that's PHI. I randomly came across this website, and I'm not even sure where, But if you go to their Facebook, they don't have a lot of likes, but they should, because they are giving away money, and it's real money. Yes, Russell's giving me this cockeyed, like, head tilted look. But it's about puzzles, Russell.
Oh, crap.
But so the Book of Phi is a book, and within the book are chapters, and each chapter is opening. And so far, there have been 2 puzzles that if you solve them, you got a check for $777. Yeah.
Wow.
And so the first puzzle was you had to open the book, and they gave you clues on how to open the book, and you have to basically press the book in a certain code.
Okay. And
I did not get this one, obviously, because I'm not in the Bahamas or something with my hundreds of dollars. But the answer to the first puzzle basically was the Fibonacci sequence. So with the clues that they gave,
I don't know what that is.
So the Fibonacci sequence is 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 1 is 3. So the code would be 1 1 2 3, and then you basically are adding the last 2 numbers.
Okay.
So it'd be 2 3 5 8 13 21.
Okay.
That.
All right.
So that's what you had to do, and the way to do that was for each one, each there was a grid on the book. Each of them was a number. You had to figure out which number was which, and then click 1 1 2 3 5 8 13, and then that would open the book.
Wow.
Yeah. And they gave the answer and they told you how to solve it. I'm still trying to figure out how they got that out of it. So
wow, interesting.
And the cool thing is they actually have a picture of the check that they sent the winner. Obviously the name is crossed out, but the fact that it's like, look, we're for real, here's the proof.
Oh, wow.
I think that's awesome.
That is awesome.
And so they had a second puzzle, and you had to unlock the second puzzle to everything. And the second puzzle had some of the chapters and clues, and there was a hangman style type of letter spacing. So if you open one puzzle, it would have 4 dashes. So it's like, okay, this has 4 letters in the answer. There was another one that had 2 dashes and a slash, so you know how to enter the answer.
Oh, okay.
I ran the board. I answered all of them, and I didn't get the actual puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Correct. And the cool thing is, and the bum out thing, because I would have gotten this, is they limit your response to once a day. So you can't just type in random words over and over again until it. So that I think is really cool.
That is very cool.
So all of the clues that I unlocked, I looked way too into it. I didn't read the instructions well enough, because they say these are all keywords from the story. Use these keywords within the story to find out what the final magic word is to win the $777. I did not read the story. I did not read that before I answered. That was my downfall. So I was taking all the clues and I was looking on Google, and it's like, okay, there's this, this, and this.
That is so you.
I know. And so
oh my gosh. That is so you, Mike.
So I based the answer on things I found, and I'm like, oh my God, this makes so sense. So I think I answered Jackson because it was part of something in South Carolina or North Carolina, and there was money and gold and stuff like that. After I read the story and I actually read through the instructions better, I was like, oh, it's within the story that I have to find the answer.
Right.
I found the answer. I was like, okay, when my time is up, when my 24 hours is up, because I already guessed, I'm going to answer this. That was the winning thing. So I would have won if I actually read the instructions better. And I'm so mad at myself for it. I'm so bummed, because I would let you supersize next time we go to lunch. I'm so mad still. I'm kicking myself. But the cool thing is it's not done. So anybody can do this and follow puzzles. If you love puzzles like I do, and like Russell obviously does, you can definitely join in.
Puzzles I enjoy. Ciphers are my downfall.
But here's the other thing. They actually have a real world aspect to this second part.
How so?
They posted clues. They basically have hidden a golden coin somewhere.
Wow.
And they give you clues on where to find it within the story.
Like
It's nowhere around us, so we can't do it. But
so I was gonna say, do they like give you the continent that it's on? Or
yeah,
something?
no, it's in the United States, and I think they even might say it's in what state it's in. It's in one of the Carolinas.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone's listening from North Carolina or South Carolina, definitely check it out. You could win a gold coin. And they posted a picture of the coin, and it's awesome. It's a treasure hunt. So if you'd like more information, go to bookoffy.com. And remember, Phi is PHI. Facebook, The Book of Phi. Instagram, Book of Phi. And Twitter, The Book of Phi.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. Because I love puzzles, and now you can win money, which is something that's, it's like an escape room except money.
Yeah, but also to me, like the puzzle you just described sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it really was. It's so well done, and that's what's really weird to me is because if you go to their Facebook page, they have under 100 likes. And for something like this, I just feel like there should be a million people like trying to get this,
Right.
because especially just the people we know in LA that do
Yeah.
escape rooms and do puzzles, they would love this.
Right.
And it's funny because I actually sent them a message asking if it was okay to talk about that because so little people are actually following them or are aware of them. And I sent them a message basically saying, personally and selfishly, I don't want to talk about this, but this is way too cool not to share. Are you okay with us talking about it on the podcast? And they wrote back and it's like, yes, of course, please. Thank you. So yeah, so there you go. I mean, if you're into puzzles and winning money for them, I mean, head on over there. It's incredible so far.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Because like I said, we hadn't talked about details.
Also, if you do this and you win some of the money, we want to cut.
Absolutely. Actually, you would get the cut. Just to be fair.
But I'll take you out and let you supersize.
Cool. Absolutely. Speaking of puzzles, that reminds me that a few podcasts ago, we had talked about Ves Corp. And we had suggested people register because we're not, it's another situation where we don't know exactly what this is developing into, but it's got a really interesting beginning. So Ves Corp was an Instagram account which started following people, which led to a website, which led to basically registration to be, what was the phrase they used? Testers?
Oh, yeah. Testers.
Yeah, but we don't know what we would be testing. Well, on their recent Instagram postings, if you combine the last few, you end up with a password, and you end up with a clue as to what to do with that password. And also, they have updated their website. They ask for some personal information, and they ask you to, I don't know, they ask a couple of personal questions, tell us a little something about yourself.
Right.
And so, because you're registering now for the next level or something. So still very mysterious, still don't know exactly what this is developing into, but the puzzle is very entertaining and very interesting. And so we recommend you check it out.
Yeah, the cool thing is that they're doing it in versions. So they announced version 1, and that was to sign up for the mailing list, basically saying you're interested. Version 2 is the questionnaire. So if you want to keep continuing with the story, fill this out and see what happens. And then recently, version 3 are the Instagram posts. And you definitely need to check out their Instagram and make sure you pay close attention because there are clues that lead you to a puzzle. And once you solve the puzzle, it's really pretty cool. And it definitely took me by surprise. So if that sounds fun, you can check them out at vescorp.tech. That's VESCORP.TECH. And on Instagram and Twitter, Ves_Corp. So now we want to give a few shout outs. We talked about what we did and some things you should check out and want to spread some love around, which is a very rare thing, especially for me.
Oh, come on. You have a big heart.
I hate love. But anyways, from our heartless hearts, I would like to first give the shout out to Kristen and Mark from the El Paso Horror Society. They had me on their podcast, their most recent podcast, talking about extreme haunts, and it was a blast. And I'm so happy and stoked I met you, Kristen. I met her through the Tension Experience. See, once again, community. Podcasts on podcasts. So thank you. And I can't wait to hear what's next. And I can't wait to hear Mark be scared of whatever websites you show him. So thank you so much. And check out their podcast at the El Paso Horror Society on iTunes.
And speaking of the Tension Experience, we do have to give a little shout out for Michael Gray, who recently had to travel to Japan for a very, very lovely wedding ceremony. And he brought back, for me, 3 bags of international style Kit Kats of various flavors and kinds. And he brought Mike a bag of Snickers.
A huge bag of Snickers.
Yeah, a very large bag of Snickers.
Thank you, man.
So, but thank you so much. It was very kind of you and very generous of you, and I really, really appreciate it. The green key, actually all of the Kit Kats. I have all 3 flavors in my freezer, and I did anyway. I just had one of the green tea Kit Kats, which was quite refreshing. So thank you very much for that, Michael. That was so thoughtful and so kind of you, and thank you so much. It was great seeing you at the Tension event this weekend too. And now that I just mentioned this weekend, I should also say I met Michelle for the first time at this Tension event.
As did I.
And she pulled me aside, and I think she did the same thing with you, Mike. And she just had this very sweet message of, I just want to thank you for entertaining me. She had gone to The Cure in Vegas and apparently caught up on all of our podcasts on the drive.
That's so rad.
And so she was very, very sweet. It was a pleasure to meet you, Michelle, and it was a pleasure hearing some of the story afterwards of your side of the Tension Experience. That was great. Thank you very much for approaching us, and it's always nice to hear that we are at least mildly entertaining. I love the fact that she put herself in a situation where she couldn't get away from us. She was driving the car. It's like she couldn't escape us. So, but thank you, Michelle. It was very kind of you.
Yeah, thank you. You have an amazing taste. You have amazing taste in music, and obviously amazing taste in podcasts.
Aww.
So thank you. And I want to give a couple shout outs to some people that left comments on our Facebook page. First, Emily from Louisiana.
Wow.
I know. Like, listening to 2 nerds talk about LA stuff. Like, it still is mind-blowing to me that anybody would care. Like, so thank you so much. Like, you are awesome and amazing. You're from that area, kind of.
Well, I grew up, what he's referring to, I grew up on the coast of Mississippi, actually.
Yeah, but that's close, right?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Depending on where in Louisiana you're talking about.
It's just weird to me to know that they have internet and stuff. That wasn't
so judgy.
That wasn't a slight at you, Emily. I'm just making fun of Russell.
Which he does a lot.
But thank you.
Thank you very much for the comment. Appreciate it. And also, Caleb shouted out to us on Twitter in response to the hood photo of me from Tension. And basically, I believe he retweeted the podcast that we had just done about that. But he responded on Twitter. Thank you very much for doing that, Caleb. Really appreciate it. And also, we got an email from a man named Justin in Chicago, Justin Brink. And he is the founder and creator of a haunt called Miasma. And this is a new haunt. I know it's just starting up. But in the last podcast, we had somebody ask about haunts in Chicago in a message. Lucas, yes. And so we didn't do it on the podcast. We privately messaged him and said, hey, check out this thing called Miasma. It's new. They did an event last year. And Justin, who he and I have traded messages a couple of times in the past year because he had responded to a review of something that we had given here in Los Angeles several podcasts ago. And that's how I was aware of him. And by the way, really interesting Instagram account for Miasma. You should check it out. We'll give you the information in a second. But Justin wrote us a very nice email telling us that we're now a regular listen for him. And I just thought it was really nice that a haunt from another city is listening to us as well, since we're so fond of the haunts in the California area and in the Las Vegas area, it's really nice to get some attention from someone in a different city. We wish you well, Justin. We know that you're just starting out. I'm sure we will talk soon. I'm sure we will connect. I'd love to know more about what's going on in the Chicago area. So we will definitely connect, and just wanted to give a shout out and thank you very much, Justin, for the very complimentary email that you sent. Mike and I both appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's incredible, and hopefully we can experience it at some point.
Hopefully. My impression is it's a little on the extreme side, so that makes me a little nervous, you know.
Also, by the way, Lucas, you're on his radar. He knows about you.
Just wanted to point that out to you, Lucas.
Yeah. Have fun sleeping. And then lastly, Tim. Tim wrote us, and he is in LA, which is awesome. So I feel like we're doing good for the people in LA. And he went to Urban Death, and let us know what you think. Just reply to that comment, send us an email. I'd love to hear your thoughts and see what you thought about it. And I hope you enjoyed it. So that does it. Once again, seriously, thank you so much to everybody that's reached out, for everybody that listens, and it really does mean a lot to us. And I hate feeling like all gushy and all that crap, but thank you. It really, really, truly means a ton to us. So thank you so much. That about wraps it up for the second half of this episode. Once again, if you would like to reach out to us, you can email us at mike@myhauntlife.com or russell@myhauntlife.com with 2 S's and 2 L's. And once again, thank you again very much for listening. I'm Mike.
And I'm Russell.
And thank you so much.
Really?
Oh, I don't know.
Take it away, Mike. No, give it back.